सही है? No matter what institutions you create, there will always be gap between what norms are and what some individuals may need, the degrees of freedom they may need. And you have to provide that space. The society's progress because of rebels. Colin Wilson wrote a book, some of you should read that book, called as The Outsider. The Outsider, he wrote based on life of 6 people. And all the 6 people were outsiders in their time, whether Rousseau or Vincent van Gogh or many others. And some of the people ended up in sanitarium. पागल बन गए वो लोग अपने जीवन की अंतिम स्थिति में. Because they reached a point when nobody understood them. And they couldn't make themselves sensible to the word that existed. So people called them insane. पागल बोला उनको. But that's a fact. Many breakthroughs happen through the people who are called crazy, isn't it? So please understand that you cannot, what I'm saying is I'm contradicting now, I'm saying that no matter how much space you create, fortitude cannot be substituted by institutions. Fortitude means capacity to say no when the world wants to hear yes. That is the definition of fortitude. I read it in 1969 and I kept it on my table in a broken glass frame. शीशा टूट गया था, उसका फ्रेम बच गया था. फ्रेम तो मैं कबाड़ी में फेंकता तो हूं नहीं चीज को, तो उस फ्रेम में मैंने ये सेंटेंस लगा कर रखा था अपने टेबल पर. Fortitude is the capacity to say no when the world wants to hear yes. And I will read it every single day. And I have read it every single day since then. Every single day. Every single day. Every single day. From 69 till date. Every single day. To me, that is something I have to repeat. Now you may say, but why do you have to repeat? Don't you understand this? No, my spirit goes low sometimes. Then I have to remind myself. A beautiful point that she made yesterday. So certain things, sometimes people have asked, I will small digression. People ask that why do you say good morning every day? Namaste roz kyun karte hain? We know each other. Do we have to tell everything every day that you good morning? अरे यार we mean good morning. तो कहना क्यों है? You know why? Because certain things have to be ritualized. Rituals are good reminders. And just as we have rituals of cleaning the house near Diwali festival or some other festival in your country, similarly we have a ritual that we must wish everybody a good day every day. The ritual is not because we may forget, it is not because we don't trust you that you wish me a good day, but I must say that. I must say that. So even if in the most intimate relations, no matter how close friends you are, sometimes you say, but तुमने मुझे ये तो कहा ही नहीं that I love you. अरे मैं रोज कहने की क्या जरूरत है? नहीं, अच्छा लगता है. नहीं, अच्छा लगता है भाई, कहना चाहिए ना, क्यों नहीं कह सकते तुम? सोचते हो, मैं सोचता तो सोचने से क्या होता है, मुझे सुनना है ना. Understand my point? So rituals are important, and this ritual is not only for others, for oneself. So if you believe that you have to develop some solutions which will serve the society, but only a small segment of society, you have to remind yourself every day that you have to do this. So rituals reinforce fortitude. Very important. Rituals have I was a great disbeliever in rituals for a long time. I was against all kinds of rituals. It took me a long time to understand why rituals are important. Today I understand. But I didn't understand when I was young, at your age, many of you people sitting here. I thought it was hypocrisy, it was a dikhava, it was a farce. But I realized that certain things, no matter how deeply you understand, you have to remind them every day. Every single day. Maybe several times a day. दिन में कई बार याद दिलाना पड़ता है. मेरी जिंदगी का मकसद क्या है, मुझे करना क्या है, मैंने क्या किया आज के सारे दिन में. You know? Others may not ask, but you should ask yourself. So those kind of things are important. Anyway, other questions? Anybody else? Good? Very good questions.
To add on ritual reinforces fortitude. So, just like in nature, sun rises up every day, every morning. Accordingly, we have seasons.
Yes.
Every year we have seasons. So we can have many examples from the nature, which we need to imbibe in our daily activities. So, I don't know. I don't have any term, but adding like meaning to rituals is important.
Yes.
The purpose.
Yeah.
With that intent, it will drive our activities.
But shall I tell you one thing? I asked this question to my grandfather once. He was a monk. And his answer was that certain rituals, even if you do them without understanding, you might still benefit because someday you will discover it. I was, like you, very keen about purposiveness in life. He said, no, sometimes you allow things to happen randomly. हमेशा हर चीज का अर्थ पता होगा तभी करेंगे तो जरूरी नहीं है, फिर बहुत कम काम करोगे तो जिंदगी में, क्योंकि अर्थ तो ज्यादा बहुत टाइम लगता है पता करने में. तो कभी कभी अगर मन करे तो कुछ कर लेना चाहिए, इवन अगर समझ में नहीं आ रहा तो कोई बात नहीं यार, अगर अच्छा लग रहा है तो कर लो, and then maybe you will understand that. But you are right that it will be nice if you knew. But as a child wouldn't know the meaning of everything that he has to do. Washing hand is a chore that most children don't like, And yet you have to reinforce it. And they don't understand it for a long time. But it's okay, someday they will discover. Do you stop trying? You don't stop trying. So just like us, that all of us are child in some respect for all our life. It's a wonderful thing to keep child in us alive. One of the best ways of remaining curious is to keep child in us alive, isn't it? Any other question that you thought we did not? Yes. I'll link to this also, no problem.
Yeah, sorry, it is slightly related, but to everything as well. I mean, we talk about in this room, when we have talked about for the last week, the process of invention, the process of diffusion development, the thought process, the inner process, everything, societal process. And there's some inventors in this room, and it's exciting to be a part of this crowd. And maybe some people will go on today and invent something new, or years down the road, or when they're 100 or whatever. But the dominant institutions creating inventions and diffusing them are market institutions and government institutions. The majority of the inventions that we have seen and will see in this world, including most of the technology that we see in this room before us, come from a systemized, institutionalized form of research and development, usually from corporations, also largely from public funding in the government, but decreasingly so in the neoliberal economy. How can alternative, deviant innovations compete, even hope to compete in the long term against a system of research and development that is driven by capitalism, driven by accumulated resources over a period of 300 to 500 years to build up a monopoly on knowledge? How do you fight that monopoly?
Yesterday night.
So my question is probably related. So
Go ahead.
you have spoken about market-driven societies and nature-dependent societies.
As a typology.
Right. So when did market-dependent societies emerge? What was the reason, origin? And living in a market-dependent society, how can we be in touch with nature? And
हाउ कैन मार्केट में रहते हुए प्रकृति के साथ संबंध कैसे बनाएं और ये कब शुरू हुआ? मार्केट की डिपेंडेंस, मार्केट का प्रोडोमिनेंस, मार्केट का दबाव कब से शुरू हुआ? बट बिफोर दैट लेट मी आंसर द क्वेश्चन दैट यू आस्क्ड. लास्ट नाइट आई गेट अ मेल फ्रॉम वन मिस्टर मैकेंजी. आई डोंट नो इफ यू रेड दैट. दिस मैन read, and I'm going to say something very, very honest, brutal, but painful. Don't mind my saying this. I have spent 5 days here. 5 sessions, right? Today is the first. This man only listened to 18-minute TED talk somehow. And you know what he did? He sent me a page-long 2 alternative solutions for the problem that I discussed in my talk. One, for paddy transplantation, all the paddy is transplanted manually. Second, for tea leaf picking from the bushes, which women have to do manually. What made him to offer a solution which he said, look, if you want, I will send you drawings. I enjoy it. I don't want anything back. I'll circulate this mail to all of you. 18 minutes. Random. I had no way that he will ever read it. Among all the people who have read my talk, who have seen my talk, one person decides to offer a concrete solution to two problems among many that I posed in that talk. And I have mentioned these examples at thousands of places so far. In many talks I have given this example. Only one person gets impatient and instigated and motivated to do something about it. I am being very honest. I mentioned this example here also. बोला था ना मैंने कि धान के लिए बहुत सारी महिलाएं क्यों नहीं दवाई, क्यों नहीं मशीन बनती है, चाय के लिए पत्तियां जो ऐसे उठाती, मैंने बताया था ना. किसी ने कोशिश नहीं की उस रात को कि दिमाग लगाकर कुछ ऑफर करते हैं सॉल्यूशन. सही बात है कि नहीं? किसी ने कोशिश नहीं की. किसी ने कोशिश नहीं की. But this man did try and sent me last night. And I wrote to him that, look, you have made my day. I sent that mail last night. I don't know, you may not have read it on HPN. But to me, and I didn't reply in detail, just I said, look, I need time to reply to you. You have made my day. I want to tell him this fact, that here I have spent 5 days discussing this problem, and nobody could get impatient enough to do anything about any problem. Let me be very honest. This is my failure, but I will accept it. ये मेरे ही हताशा है, मेरी फ्रस्ट्रेशन है, लेकिन मैं मानूंगा इसको, है ना. अगर मुझ में ताकत होती ना, तो 5 दिन के अंदर एक व्यक्ति तो उठता ना, कहता कि चलो भाई मैं इसको कुछ करता हूं, दिस प्रॉब्लम, और नॉट वन आई टोल्ड, एनी अदर प्रॉब्लम. But the process that we were discussing was, why don't we realize when their problem is realized as important, that we should do something about it, correct? है ना. यही तो कोर्स का पर्पस था, नॉलेज, फीलिंग एंड डूइंग का. तो यहां तो मैं नहीं कर पाया यार. I couldn't do it here. But someone who was not participating in this course, and with whom I had no interaction whatsoever, and who I know nothing about, has done it. Which means that his sanskar already had made him reach a point when he was just waiting for a small trigger, which this talk apparently gave, and he got going. And he gave me an example. If there's a pipe, something that SEPT students had developed, because he asked me, has anybody developed? And I'm going to tell him that one of the solutions that he mentioned, SEPT students last year had developed in a course which Astar teaches. They took a pipe, यहाँ बाउल है, उसमें डाला पत्ती, एक स्प्रिंग से, the pipe will go up, the leaves will go back. Simple idea, na? Your hand doesn't have to go up. Your hand doesn't have to go like this. Only the pipe will go up with the spring. And all the leaves will go through the pipe in the basket behind. Simple idea. See? He also suggested, because one of the things I mentioned was that women, their feet are in the water for 15 days when they transplant paddy, and they get fungal infections. He suggested special kinds of boot which will be easy to wear, and special material that is available which will be almost like a sting to the feet.